Okay, welcome back. In this video, we will have a look at how to develop parallel features, parallel things in Git using branches. So why would you have parallel development lines in Git at all? And there are two scenarios which I can think about that which could be relevant for you at this point. First of all, the very important one, if you want to create new features, testing new features, implementing new features without having to change the main code, and maybe you also want to have multiple independent features at the same time, develop them and explore them, then you can put them into parallel development lines, so-called branches, and then you can work at the same time without affecting the actual code on the main. Another scenario is if you find a bug which you would like to fix, and it turns out the bug is an older version of the code, and you would like to release a fix, but you don't want to release all the changes which you did since then, because maybe those are features which you do not want to release to the public yet. Then again, you can use a branch from the old position to make the fix. So how does it work in theory first? The typical workflow for the case when you are implementing two independent features would be the following. We have our main branch here, so with several commits which are not shown here, and at some point we decide to want to implement two different features and test them independently of the code, how the code is developed on the main branch. So then basically we are creating a new branch. So we are branching. This is the important word here. Let's say that we call the branch feature one. So we give every branch a name so that we can identify this development line. And then on this branch feature one, we can just make several different commits. And as you see, these commits are independent from the history of main. So whatever happens of main does not affect whatever happens of feature one, and vice versa. Whatever that do on the branch of feature one, it won't affect the main branch. The same thing, let's just create another branch here. Let's call it feature 2. And again, this is a parallel development line. And again, independent of the other branches, I can just check in commits. All right, so the main branch, which is the, let's say, the official version of the project, is unaffected. At some point, when I think that one of the features, let's say feature 2, is really to be released, then I want to make all the changes which I made here in this branch. I want to bring them to the main branch, and that's called merging. So I will just merge all the changes to the main branch. So basically, I will show you in a sec how to do that, but this commit here will contain all the changes which I have made in feature 2. And then when feature 1 is also released and or should be released, then I can also merge feature 1 into the main code, and then basically this commit here will have all the changes which were done in feature 2, because of this commit is the parent commit, the previous commit from this one, and all the changes which had been done on feature 1, because it is just the merge of the feature branch. Of course, if feature 1 and feature 2 were changing the same files or even the same lines, there could be some conflicts which has to be sorted out, which we will have a look at in a second how to do that. Instead of showing that on the slide, I would like to show you that in the terminal now, so that you can type it and make the project with me. I think it's a little bit more intuitive than just showing slides in this case. So let's create a directory. Let's call it git demo. First, of course, I have to create it before I can check it in. Then let's go into git demo, and within git demo, I will just create our project. Let's call it hello. I will just change to the hello project, and in order to make it as a Git repository, as we have already learned, I will just make a Git in it. Now we have an empty repository. There is nothing, there are no files in it. So we will just start with Visual Studio Code in order to add files to this project. And I will only add one single, very simple file to that. Let's call this file hello.p. So just a simple Python file, and also the content of hello.p should be as simple as possible. So it will just print out the word hello and nothing else, right? And that's it. I just save it. I just switch back to the window, and then we have, of course, to add it to the Git project so that Git registers it, and then we will just check it in. I'm using the abbreviations which I have introduced a few lectures before, so that I don't have to type too much. And then let's call it initial check-in, the message initial check-in. So that's the commit message, right? And then if we have a look at that, indeed we have a commit now. Okay, perfect. In order to track how our project looks like, I will also start here git-k, the program git-k in the background, and now also with git-k we see, okay, this is fairly simple. We have a main branch and an initial check with one commit initial check-in. Now let's start to create a branch. Let's call it cleanup, because you have learned in the project in this lecture already that if you want to have a script, you should make some other some constructs in order to have it looking more professional. So we will just create a cleanup branch that you do by git branch cleanup. So basically the git branch is the command and cleanup is the name of the branch which can be created. Then if you reload the things in git-k, then you can see that now there's also a cleanup branch, but we are still on the main development line because this is what is shown here bold. And then let's switch to the new branch. So I will say git switch, and let's switch to the cleanup branch, right? So it says, okay, we have switched to the cleanup branch. And if you look at here, you see that the cleanup branch is now marked bold. Okay, and now we can just make various developments which we like, and in this cleanup branch we will just edit our hello file, and we will just create a function, a main function as we have learned, which basically does this printing, and we make sure that this main function is executed if the script is this Python program is started as a script. So if the name, if the internal variable name equals to the string __ main, then we should just call here the main branch. And this is basically what I have. Now I wanted to add it. I will just say git add-u that says add all the files which are under version control and has been changed to the stage. If you look at that, it's on the stage, and I will just check it in and say, okay, wrap script as main. So basically the script content has been wrapped into a main function. Now if we look at how our git-k looks like, then you see that basically the main branch is still at the points to the commit of check-in, and there is a cleanup branch. This is one commit farther and points to the commit wrap script as main. Okay. There's also another thing which we have learned, that every project should have a readme file. So we will just create also a readme file here and store it as readme. Let's say rst file. And we are just writing some very simple comments. Let's say we're just writing the project name, which is hello, in the readme file, and we will just have a very trivial message just to demonstrate. So we are saying we are greeting project to demonstrate the usage of multiple git branches, right? That's enough. This is of course not a proper readme, but it should be enough in order to demonstrate what we want to have. And then if you go to the terminal, then we are also git adding the readme file, so that makes sure that it also gets under version control. And if you look, yeah, the new file is there, and then we will just check in and with -m say add readme file, right? So this commit will add a readme file. So far so good. Yes, now let's have a look at our git-k, and we see that here is the main, and we have here two further commits in the cleanup branch. Now let's assume the cleanup branch is not finished yet, but we want to also explore a different feature, and this different feature should be start again with the initial check-in, because it should that should be the starting point. So we will go back to the main branch. So we will say git switch main. I switch to main. Then if you reload it, you see, okay, it only shows the main branch, and the other one is has vanished because it doesn't show by default the non-active branches. This is something you can change. Actually, you should change. You can create in git-k a new view, and here you should click on that it should show all local branches, right? Okay, and then you see that we change back to main, but the cleanup branch is still there. Now we are creating a new branch again from this point. So we will say git switch or git branch we could, or we can just combine it, git branch and git switch, by saying git switch and -c, extend that will create basically the new branch extend and change it immediately to that. So this is in you can do 2 commands into one. And if you have a look at that, we see that we have here now a new branch. It still points to the initial checking commit, but this is now the active branch. Okay, now let's basically have a look how our files look like. And you see, because we switch back to main and we are at the same point as the main branch, we have only hello.py. We don't have the readme.rst file, right? Because that has been added only here, and now we went back history to here. So basically at that point we didn't have a readme file, and you see in Visual Studio Soul it's also signalizing that this file is missing now. It's not in the directory. Also the hello.py file went back to the original form as it was at the first commit. So basically this wrapping with main is completely missing. Now let's make some development on this branch. So basically we will, here in this branch, we will just make it a little bit more polite, right? So we will just extend it, print hello world, and so super simple, and we'll just immediately add and check it in just to demonstrate. So let's again git add -u. So basically add all the files which have been changed and are already under version control, and then I will just check it so git commit -m extend greeting. Again, this CI is just an abbreviation I am using, and I have shown you in another video on the slides how you can define abbreviation in order to spare a lot of typing. Okay, now if we have a look at that git log, we see that okay, we have the main and the extended branch, and if we are looking here and showing also the branch, the branch which is not used, it's the cleanup branch which is here, and the extend branch is no different line of development because it has only the main, this initial checking commit in common with the cleanup branch, but otherwise it has a different commit. Now let's add also one more commit just to make it a little bit more prominent. So basically we will just extend it and add something more polite, like questions, how are you doing, right? Okay, this is what we do. I just add, and then again I will check it in, and then I would say git ci -m, and let's say make greeting more polite, right? I mean, those are micro commits, and this is something you usually you wouldn't do, but for the sake of exercises here, I would like to demonstrate it's perfect. And then if you are having a look at our stuff here, you see that I have here now 2 different lines of development. Okay, so now we are at the point where we were here. So basically we have one feature and another feature, and now we would like to merge them back to the main thing because the features are finished, and now we want to bring them to the main branch. Because I will use, and okay, so let's first of all switch to the main branch first, right? And because at this point I would like to come back and show you something else, I will now go up one folder and make a copy from our hello project under the name hello.org, and I'm making a recursive copy with a -r, so that means I'm copying the project and also the subfolder, which means also the git history. Okay, and we will come to this hello.org back in a sec. Okay, now we are but this is just for because I want to demonstrate something later. Otherwise, of course, in a normal development you wouldn't do that. Now we are in the main branch, so let's check where we are. We are here at the beginning, and now we want to bring basically this cleanup branch into the main, incorporate into main. And the command for that is git merge. So we have one merge we would like to merge the content of cleanup into the main branch where we are now at the moment. So basically it always merges into the branch, into the active branch. And if you just execute it, it says, okay, apparently it managed, and it did something which is called fast forward. Let's have a look what happened here. So I'm just reloading with Shift F5, and you see that basically what happened, the main branch was just moved up to where the name main, or the pointer to the main branch was just moved up where cleanup was. Why? Because there was a straight line how you could come from main to cleanup, so Git could do a so-called fast forward. That means moving the main branch forward onto the position what we wanted to merge. Okay. No, because everything is incorporated in main. Basically, I can just delete the main branch, so I can say git branch minus, I can delete the cleanup branch, git branch minus the cleanup. So basically here, no, everything is on main, which was on cleanup, and I don't need that branch anymore. Okay, perfect. And now let's also merge the other branch, the extend branch. So we are still on main, but if you want to be sure, you can always first make a switch command to the branch you want to merge into, but we were already on main, and then we can just say git merge, and then we are just using the extend branch, right? And then let's execute it, and apparently there is something wrong. Right, so if we try to merge it, and Git is complaining about the conflict. So what does it mean? The conflict is in the hello.py file, and we can just go in the editor and have a look at the hello.py, and you see that it looks very weird. It has some special marker, this less sign, and the greater, and in between these equal signs. And this is basically showing on two versions of the file. One version which is here on the main branch where we want, and the other version which we would like to merge in. And why is there a conflict? Because we were just changing the same line. In the one version, we were just extending the line. In the other version, we were completely rewriting the entire environment of this line. And of course, Git doesn't know which one should I take. So this is something where you have to resolve it by hand. You can use, if you want to have the current change or the incoming change. The incoming change is the one which comes from the extend branch. You could just accept it. You could try to accept both changes, or you can even compare them. So what is our situation? Of course, in our project, we would like to have the extended greeting, but also this nice cleaned up structure with the wrapping in the main. So what I will do is just take those two lines out and paste it here, and of course indent it accordingly, because then I have basically the wrap structure as before and also the extended greeting. Now I will just delete the markers which are not needed anymore, and then just save it. And now if you are just asking yourself what is the status, we still there are unmerged thing. This hello.py was modified by both. We have resolved the conflict, so we have to make a git add to get to tell Git that basically the conflict has been resolved. And Git also tells you what to do. So basically it also says with git add, and you can add, and then with git commit, of course, you have to commit it, right? So it also says here git fix conflicts and run git commit. So we have fixed the conflict. Now we are running git commit, and then this will open the editor which you have set up, and with the commit message, and the commit message suggested, which is exactly the one which you would like to use anyway, merge branch extend. So let's do that, and then basically we are on the main branch, and this has been merged. If you look at the here in the git log, then this merge branch commit had been made, or it appears here, and also we have here the previous changes in the same line. Let's have a look graphically how it looks like. Now I have here a point main, right? So this is my main branch, and apparently main contains the changes from one branch and the other branch. So there are two different branches which were just here merged into main. We can, of course, we are on main, we don't need the extend branch anymore. It doesn't have to be commit, doesn't have to carry a name anymore, because we are not developing on that line anymore. So we can just we git branch minus the extend, basically delete that pointer to the branch, and then we have only the name main showing to the latest commit, which contains the changes from here, from the original cleanup branch and the original extend branch, but the names are not available anymore. Okay, so we have seen two different ways how to merge things. The so-called fast forward, which is possible if you have a straight line from the merging point up to the point which you want to merge, or if that's not possible, you have to make a so-called merged commit, which was the second one. Now, if I skip the thing which is show the same thing on the slides, we can discuss a little bit about fast-forward merges, which we did at the beginning, and explicit merge commits. Some projects do not like fast-forward merges at all, and would like to have all merges, so basically all branches, when brought to the main branch with an explicit merge commit. And this is something I want to show you, how you can tell Git to use always explicit merge commits instead of fast-forward. The reason some projects do not like it, because if you have merge commits, it's a little bit more clearer where the changes come from. If you have fast forward, then you have also the details of the project of the feature branch in the main branch. It's not clear at which point it entered, because it enters step by step as it was developed on the main branch, on the feature branch. Sorry. Now, in order to have a look at that, let's do the following. I will just go in the original hello.org folder, which I just saved exactly for that reason. And let's close this GitK window and just here open another one to see what was the status. So the what is the status here? Okay, this is on hello.py. Very good. And so far so good. And now let's do the same things as we did before. So wait a second, view. Here I will just a new view and show all local branches so that we are clear. We see what happens exactly. And we are now in the main branch, and we would like to merge, clean up, and extend. And we do exactly as before, with the only difference that cleanup would be by default fast forward merge, because I can go through a straight line from in history from main to cleanup. But in order to prevent that, I will just say give the option -no ff, no fast forward, and I will just merge cleanup with that. So I say merge -no ff cleanup, and then I immediately get again my editor, because I have to specify a merge commit message, because it will be a separate commit in the history. And I just accept the name, and then if you look at what happened, you see that here is the main branch, and the main branch contains here the cleanup branch merged into the main, but explicitly with a merge commit. So basically I know that everything which cleanup has implemented entered the main branch together as one feature exactly at that point. So it's quite nicely separated. And do the same, of course, with extend. I will just merge the extend branch the same way. Of course, I have again the same conflicts. So let's fix those conflicts. Of course, I have to here open the Visual Studio Code for this folder then here. And let's load the hello.p file, which was the conflicting one. And then Visual Studio Code already shows here the conflict markers and then colors them. And of course, the solution is exactly the same as before. We are just taking those two lines and inserting them. Here, of course, I also have to indent them properly. This line we don't need. And of course, oh, sorry, I just here cut out the wrong lines. So this way, and then you are just inserting it, and this one I can delete, and this two you have to indent, right? So basically I'm just again here resolving the conflict. The conflict is resolved. If the conflict is resolved, I'm just saying git add hello.py, so the conflict is resolved, and then I can just make a commit git check in, and because we are in the merge, I automatically get the commit message suggested, which I will just accept and save and edit the editor, exit the editor. And now if you are looking at what happened here, then you see that basically here I have the cleanup branch, the original cleanup branch, the original extend branch, but basically on main to main, both of them had been merged via an explicit merge commit. So we know that this is the point here where the cleanup entered, cleanup feature entered. This is the point here when the extend feature with all the commits on the extend branch entered. And of course, I don't need the old branch names anymore, because I'm not developing on those lines anymore. So basically I can say git branch -d extend, and the same for cleanup. I can just do the two names, and then basically here, if I'm just loading it, then this is how my history says. And this is basically enough for you just to start with concurrent development in Git within one repository, but different branches. The two commands you have to realize to use is branch and merge, and eventually you have to fix conflicts. And in the other video, I would show you how you can do it if there are more than one developer with a similar technique, synchronize developments between developers.